You've been playing Monopoly your whole life without realizing the rules were written in disappearing ink. You work 40 hours a week to collect pieces of paper that lose value faster than your dreams of early retirement. In this video, we're going to crack open the server room of the financial system. If you're not ready to find out that your wallet is basically a demo account they can revoke at any moment, swipe away. For everyone else, welcome to the real world. They taught us fractions and percentages in school, but somehow forgot to mention why banks make trillions out of thin air while you're sweating for minimum wage. Mrs. Karen in economics class spun fairy tales about savings accounts, but she stayed dead silent about the greatest financial gaslighting in history. We're breaking down 33 facts about money that will turn everything you learned in school to ash. Let's start with the first 11, after which you'll either delete your banking app or start playing for real. And the most important thing right now, hit that subscribe button. Done? Let's go. Fact number 1, inflation is a hidden tax on your life. Inflation isn't stuff getting more expensive. It's your money dying. Imagine you've got a bucket of water with a hole in it. Every morning, there's 5 to 10% less water. That's inflation. Governments love it because their massive debts shrink along with everything else. If you're keeping cash under your mattress, you're literally subsidizing the government. In 1920s Germany, people were wallpapering their houses with banknotes because the paper itself was worth more than the number printed on it. Today it happens more elegantly. You don't notice someone stealing the hours you've already worked, they just quietly devalue them. It's a tax on the poor and middle class that will never appear in a textbook, because the system needs people who keep collecting monopoly money. Fact number 2, money from nothing. Think when you take out a car loan, the bank is handing you money from other depositors? Dead wrong. In reality, when you sign that loan agreement, the bank doesn't walk to the vault. It just creates an entry in your account. Literally hits enter. 95% of all the money in the world doesn't physically exist. It's just bytes on a server. When a bank issues you a loan, it prints that money from nothing. It's called fractional reserve banking, but let's call it what it is, legalized counterfeiting. We spend 10 years of our lives paying back a debt that was created in 10 seconds by a piece of software. So who's the main character here and who's just a battery in the matrix? Fact number 3, the greatest prank in history. Let's start with the foundation they've been hiding from you. Your money isn't wealth. It's an IOU that got stretched into a 1,000-year scam. Back in the 10th century, Chinese merchants in Chengdu figured out that hauling bags of copper coins was pure energy. They'd leave their metal with a money changer and get back a slip of paper, jiaozi. And this is where the real main character energy from bankers begins. They figured out, wait, people almost never come for their gold at the same time. So what did they do? They started printing 10 times more paper than they had gold in the basement. That was history's first infinite money glitch. The bill in your pocket is basically a trust me, bro from the government. If tomorrow everyone decided this paper was garbage, you'd be left holding confetti. School taught you money equals labor. Ha! Money equals faith that tomorrow everything doesn't collapse. Fact number 4, interest is the price of your patience. Why does the bank charge interest? Because time is the only non-renewable resource. Back in the 18th century, economists dropped the foundational truth, $1 today is always worth more than $1 tomorrow. When you take out a loan, you're literally robbing your future self. You're buying the ability to flex right now and paying double for it 5 years down the road. Banks are time dealers. They rent you tomorrow so you can spend it today. And school never once explained that compound interest can make you rich if you invest it, or make you a slave if you borrow it. It's math that either works for you or destroys your freedom. Fact number 5, the cashback trap. Oh, I get 3% cashback on my lattes. I hacked the system. Bro, relax. Cashback isn't a gift, it's bait. First of all, stores already built that commission into the price. So you overpaid 5% upfront just to have 3% generously returned to you. Second, research shows people with loyalty cards spend 20% more than they planned. The psychology is simple, your brain thinks it's earning while you're spending. That's perfect gaslighting. You're not an investor, you're a victim of a marketing program that makes the CIA look sloppy. The wealthiest people in the world often use basic debit cards or cash, because they know the free cheese only exists in the digital mousetrap. Fact number 6. The national debt is a legal Ponzi scheme. In school they told you, living in debt is bad. Tell that to the US government, sitting on over $34 trillion in debt. But here's the secret, national debt isn't your pizza tab. It's a control mechanism. The government never plans to actually pay it off. It just issues new bonds to cover old ones. It's a massive Ponzi scheme held together by faith in the strength of the military and the economy. As long as the world believes the main player is reliable, the pyramid keeps growing. It's an infinite money glitch at the national level. If a country stopped borrowing, the global economy would just implode. Cringe? No, this is the reality we actually live in. Fact number 7, 1971, the greatest betrayal. If you want to understand why your grandfather could buy a house on a mailman's salary and you can't afford a studio in a sketchy neighborhood, remember this date, August 15, 1971. That's the day President Nixon unpegged the dollar from gold. Before that moment, every bill was backed by real metal. After, just the pinky promise of politicians. Since 1971, prices on everything have gone to the moon while real wages flatlined. That was the moment the money printer broke free. We live in the post-gold era, where money is just a collective hallucination we all keep alive. If you look up the charts for WTF happened in 1971, you'll see exactly when the world broke. Fact number 8, savers are the biggest losers. Save your money, son, and you'll be set. Worst advice in history. In a world where inflation eats 10% per year and your bank gives you 0.1% on a savings account, saving money means choosing to get poorer on purpose. The bank takes your savings, lends them to your neighbor at 15% for a Tesla, and tosses you the crumbs. You are literally sponsoring someone else's success with your own money. Being a good boy with a savings account is a one-way ticket to financial oblivion. Real money is made on assets that can't just be printed. Saving cash today is like trying to hold onto ice in the middle of a heat wave. Fact number 9, the Veblen effect, why you buy cringe. Why does a Supreme hoodie cost $500 when the production cost is $5? Welcome to the world of status consumption. There's an actual bug in economics. When the price of something goes up, demand for it also goes up. People buy expensive things not for quality, but to announce, I'm the main character. It's a social signal. We spend money we don't have on things we don't need to impress people we don't care about. School never taught us psychological hygiene, so we become brand slaves. Remember, true luxury is when you don't have to prove anything to random people on the internet. Fact number 10, the Fed is not a government agency. The Federal Reserve is not a government institution like the post office or the police. It's an independent hybrid that is effectively owned by private commercial banks. Think about that. A group of private individuals decides how much life costs for 330 million Americans and the rest of the world. They don't answer directly to the president. It's like having a remote control for the entire planet's economy and deciding yourself when to trigger a crisis and when to throw a party. This is the most closely guarded secret of the free world. Whoever controls the money printer controls history. Fact number 11, your credit score is your digital collar. In the US, your FICO score matters more than your last name. It's your social rating. If you've never been in debt, you're suspicious. The system wants you to owe money. You're supposed to constantly take out loans and carefully pay them back, feeding the bank's interest. Only then will they let you rent an apartment or get decent insurance. It's a modern digital leash. Miss one internet bill payment and your life turns into a nightmare. You're forced to be a productive NPC just to maintain your rating. It's the perfect way to keep people in line without firing a single shot. So, feel that? The foundation of your reality just turned to sand. Those were only the first 11 nails. It gets worse from here. We'll crack open the secrets of your taxes, break down why your pension is a scam, and show how the top 1% captured the planet's resources while you were picking a phone case color. If you haven't hit subscribe yet, now's the time. Part 2 is already on its way, and trust me, it contains information that in certain circles could earn you a one-way ticket. Be smarter than the system. Fact number 12, the generational heist in your paycheck. School told us a loan is just borrowing money. But in reality, debt is a time machine for pumping resources between generations. Think about it big brain style: old people have capital but no time. Young people have time and energy but not a dime. The system is built so that young people take loans to buy assets from the older generation: houses, stocks, businesses. The result, you spend your best 20 years paying interest to people who are already retired. It's not just a transaction, it's a legal way to make you work for people who staked out their spot in the sun before you even showed up. You're literally selling your future to pay for someone else's past. Fact number 13, the poverty tax. You know what the most expensive thing in the world is? Being poor. School taught us that 10% is always 10%. But in reality, interest rates for the rich and for the poor are two completely different planets. If a billionaire borrows money to build a factory, he pays 2 to 3% annually. If you get a payday loan or overdraft your debit card, you're paying anywhere from 30% to 1,000% per year. The system punishes you for not having a cushion. Overdraft fees, low balance maintenance charges, late payment penalties, that's all a poverty tax. Banks make billions not from investing in startups, but from the fact that some regular worker had $10 too little in their account. The vibe is maximally cynical: the people with the least money pay the most for it. Fact number 14, a mortgage is a death pledge. The word mortgage comes from Old French, mort, death, engage, pledge. Literally a death pledge. School tells you it's an investment in your own home. But run the math on 30 years. At an average rate, you end up paying the bank the cost of 2 or 3 houses while living in one. And until you've paid the last cent, that house isn't yours. It's the bank's property, you're renting it at an insane premium while covering every repair and tax yourself. A mortgage is the perfect way to chain you to your job. You can't quit, can't take risks, can't travel the world, because the death pledge demands blood every month. That's the American dream, gift wrapped in barbed wire. Fact number 15, gold is the last line of defense. If money is just paper and bytes, why are central banks around the world still buying gold by the ton? Nixon ended the gold standard back in '71. The answer is simple: gold is the only money in the world that isn't someone else's liability. If a government collapses, its bills become toilet paper. If a bank goes under, its digital numbers disappear. But gold stays gold. It's the money of last resort. When the powerful get nervous, they stash heavy yellow metal in their basements. If that's what they're doing, maybe it's worth asking yourself what your financial stability is actually built on. Fact number 16, why isn't the US bankrupt yet? People keep screaming, the US national debt is $34 trillion, they're about to collapse. But here's a pro tip: government debt is not like your family credit card debt. Your family can't print its own money to pay off debts. The US can. The dollar is the world's reserve currency. When America needs money, it just issues treasury bonds, and the whole world buys them. It's like if you could write IOUs that said, "I owe you $100 and pay for groceries with them," and the store accepted them because you've got the biggest shotgun in the neighborhood. National debt isn't a problem, it's a leverage tool. As long as the dollar is backed by the most powerful military and the largest market in the world, the infinite money glitch keeps working. Fact number 17, default isn't the END, it's a reset button. What happens when a country runs out of money? Default. They paint it like the apocalypse. But history is full of defaults, hundreds of them. Argentina does it every few years like it's on a schedule. A default is when a country tells its creditors, "Sorry guys, money's tight, best of luck." And then what? The country disappears? No. It negotiates a restructuring, writes off part of the debt, swaps out the government, and in a couple years is back on the market borrowing again. It's like declaring bankruptcy and getting a new credit card the following week. The system is so tangled in debt that it's easier to forgive old sins than to stop the game. Fact number 18, the tax matrix. Most people think, I pay 13% or 20% income tax, and that's it. Cute. In reality, you're paying taxes every second of your life. Sales tax is baked into every candy bar. Excise tax is in every gallon of gas. Tariffs are in your smartphone. If you add up all direct and hidden taxes, the average person hands over 40 to 60% of their income to the government. You're working from January through July just to fund the bureaucrat's banquet. And here's the irony, the richest people in the world, hey there, Elon and Jeff, often legally pay 0% in taxes because they own assets rather than earn salaries. The system is designed to shear the sheep, wage workers, while giving the green light to the wolves, capital owners. Fact number 19, CBDC, the end of your privacy. Brace yourself for the next level of control, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. This is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is anonymity and freedom. CBDCs are when the government sees every single transaction you make in real time. Imagine, your money could have an expiration date, spend it now or it vanishes, to stimulate the economy. Or the government could block you from buying alcohol or a plane ticket if your social credit score is too low. This isn't a Black Mirror plot, it's being tested right now. It's total control over your wallet. You won't be able to buy a stick of gum without Big Brother checking a box in your file. Fact number 20, the war on cash. Noticed how aggressively they've been nudging us toward Apple Pay and contactless cards. It's convenient. It's fast. But the real reason is data. Your transactions are the new oil. When you pay cash, nobody knows what you bought, where, or from whom. When you pay digitally, the algorithms know more about you than your own mother. Your consumer habits get sold to advertisers and analysts. But most importantly, without cash, you're completely dependent on the banking system. Kill the power or freeze your account by mistake and you're nobody. Cash is the last zone of autonomy, which is exactly why they're working so hard to eliminate it under the cover of fighting crime. Fact number 21, bubbles are financial carnivals. From Dutch tulips in the 17th century to the dot-com crash to NFTs, humanity loves blowing bubbles. Why? Because it's a fast dopamine hit. School teaches us rational behavior, but the market is pure crowd psychology. When your grandma and your Uber driver are both telling you to buy some asset, that's the signal to run. A bubble is when an asset's price rises only because everyone hopes to sell it to a greater fool. The problem is that eventually the greater fools run out. Bubbles are a wealth transfer mechanism from the crowd to the people who got in first and got out in time. It's financial natural selection. Fact number 22, passive income, the greatest myth of the guru industrial complex. Make money while you sleep. Retire at 30. Bro, if passive income were that easy, nobody would have a job. Real passive income requires either massive upfront capital, which you have to earn first, or constant active management. Dividends, rental income, royalties, it's all work. Stocks can crash, tenants can ghost you, businesses can fail. The guru hustlers are selling you the dream of doing nothing so they can make their own passive income off your course purchase. In the real world, money demands either your time or your risk. There is no third option. How's that second batch of red pills landing? But I saved the best for dessert. In the third and final part, we'll crack open 11 facts that bankers only discuss behind closed doors. We'll talk about how financial crises actually work, why poverty is a choice the system makes, not you, and most importantly, how to use this knowledge not just to survive, but to actually crack the code. Hit the bell so you don't miss the finale of this battle for your mind and your wallet. See you in part 3. Fact number 23, Social Security is a legal pyramid scheme. They've been selling us the same line since kindergarten: work hard, pay your contributions, and your golden years will be golden. Here's the bitter truth, your pension isn't a savings account with your name on it. It's a pay-as-you-go system. Your contributions today go directly to pay current retirees right now. This whole party is held together by demographics. In 1960s Japan, 11 workers supported each retiree, today it's fewer than 2. Math is merciless, when there are fewer workers than mouths to feed, the system starts cracking. The French protests over raising the retirement age to 64 are just the beginning. Your future pension depends not on how hard you worked, but on how many kids people are having today. Pure L energy. Fact number 24. Bitcoin is not an invisibility cloak. A lot of people think crypto is a way to become a financial ghost and disappear from the government's radar. Bro, that is the greatest misconception. The Bitcoin blockchain is the most public ledger in the world. Every single transaction has been permanently recorded since 2009. Anyone can see how much you sent and where. The moment you dox your wallet, say, by buying sneakers with delivery or passing KYC verification on an exchange, your anonymity turns into a pumpkin. The FBI is already running full-scale blockchain analytics. In 2021, they tracked down and seized $2.3 million from hackers in a matter of days. Crypto isn't a shadow, it's a spotlight that records your every move, forever. Fact number 25. Default isn't the END, it's the reboot button. The word default sounds like financial apocalypse. In reality, it's a strategic tool. When a country says, "Hey guys, we're tapped out, good luck out there," that's a default. Sure, the currency tanks, the credit rating goes to junk, but the country doesn't disappear off the map. Argentina is a certified Sigma in this arena. They've defaulted 9 times. And each time they negotiate, write off some debt, and keep playing. Russia, after its 1998 default, was already booming by 2000. Sometimes a default is the only way to erase past mistakes and start with a clean slate, leaving creditors empty-handed. Fact number 26. Your gold might be in someone else's pocket. Think your country's gold reserve is sitting in a vault guarded by your own Secret Service? Most likely, it's in the basement of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York or somewhere in London. In 2013, Germany decided to bring its gold home from the US, and you know what happened? They were told the process would take 7 years. Why? Because gold stored abroad isn't just metal, it's a pledge of loyalty and political dependence. The vaults under Manhattan hold 6,000 tons of gold from dozens of countries. When one country pays another, bars are simply moved from one compartment to another in the same basement. Convenient? Sure. But in a conflict, your gold might just stop being yours. Fact number 27. The free sample trap. That free Netflix or Spotify trial isn't generosity. It's predatory pricing strategy. Companies slash prices or give everything away to muscle out competitors and wire a habit into your brain. Uber operated at a loss for years, destroying traditional taxi services, so that once they became a monopoly they could jack up prices. Banks give you a credit card with a grace period, banking on the fact that at least once you'll forget to pay on time, and then they flip the interest switch to max. You're not a customer. You're a target for dependency formation. Fact number 28. The logo magic trick. A premium brand means guaranteed quality? Forget it. A huge number of products are made in the same Chinese factories through ODM manufacturing. One pair of sneakers gets a cool logo slapped on and sells for $150, another gets sold as a no-name brand for $30, even though the materials and construction are identical. Same thing with medication. A name brand drug and its generic have the exact same active ingredient from the exact same factory, but the brand name costs 10x more because of marketing. You're not paying for better materials. You're paying for the picture in your head and the ads they drilled into you. Fact number 29. Edward Bernays and the engineering of consent. Think you choose what to buy on your own? Ha! Modern marketing was engineered by Freud's nephew Edward Bernays. He got women to start smoking by calling cigarettes torches of freedom, breaking a social taboo and doubling tobacco sales overnight. Today, social media algorithms do the same thing, analyzing your emotional state and serving you products exactly when you're at your most vulnerable. Even in the grocery store, everything is calculated, the most expensive items are at eye level, and the music and smells are designed to keep you wandering the aisles longer. Your choices were already made by the store's architects before you walked through the door. Fact number 30. Planned obsolescence. Your smartphone starts slowing down after 2 years not because it's tired. That's by design. Apple admitted they were intentionally throttling older iPhones through software updates. It's not profitable to make things that work for 10 years. Back in 1924, the Phoebus Cartel, a group of light bulb manufacturers, agreed to reduce bulb lifespans from 2,500 hours down to 1,000, so people would buy more. If a bulb lasted too long, the manufacturer got fined. Your gadget is engineered to become a brick at the exact moment the new model drops. Fact number 31, official inflation is a bedtime story for adults. The government says inflation is 5%, but your wallet is screaming 15%? It's all in the methodology. The consumer basket used for calculations often includes things you barely buy, like sewing machines, and conveniently leaves out what you spend the most on: rent, healthcare, education. If the US measured inflation today using the 1980 methodology, it would be 2 to 3 times higher than the official number. Why do authorities fudge the numbers? Because those figures determine pension payments and government salaries. The lower the official inflation rate, the less money the government has to return to you. Fact number 32, the lottery, a tax on people who hate math. Economists call lotteries a regressive tax on the poor. The odds of winning the Powerball jackpot are 1 in 292 million. Mathematically, when you buy a $2 ticket, you've already lost an average of $1.66 on the spot. Low-income people spend an enormous share of their budget on tickets hoping for a miracle, because the system hasn't given them any other paths. The irony, in the US, lottery proceeds go to fund schools, the same schools that never teach probability theory, so kids will keep buying those tickets. Fact number 33, you sold your soul without reading the contract. 99% of people never read what they sign. One British company, as a joke, added a clause about surrendering immortal soul to their terms of service, and 7,500 people agreed to it without a second glance. Companies deliberately make contracts unreadable, packed with legal jargon. Reading every user agreement you encounter in a year would take the average person 250 hours of straight reading time. Buried in that fine print are clauses stripping your right to sue, or allowing banks to change terms unilaterally. You're signing your name to rules that were written against you. Now you've got all 33 facts. You know how money is conjured from thin air, why inflation is a tax, and how corporations hijack your mind. This knowledge won't make you a billionaire overnight, but it gives you something 99% of people don't have: an understanding of the rules of the game. Which fact from today hit you the hardest? Drop it in the comments, let's talk. And remember, in the world of money, knowledge is the only insurance they can never take from you. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell, there's plenty more ahead on topics you're not supposed to discuss out loud. Thanks for watching. See you soon.